Interestingly, I actually started off as a biology major. And to be able to support my collegiate goal, my education, I enlisted in the United States Marine Corps as a communications specialist. In the Marine Corps, in the military, I learned about radio systems, communications, and interestingly, data systems. So over time, I found that I was more interested in how communication systems and technology worked, and decided to do a career change. I ultimately got a bachelor's in information technology and later a master's in information systems that allowed me, at least from a management perspective or a business perspective, the foundational understanding of how technology works. Cybersecurity became one of those things that was a buzzword, and not a lot of people would understand it. But in short, it was a concept that we tried to get support in how we protect the information systems that we managed. We wanted to make sure that the information systems were always available, that the information that were on those systems was confidential, and well protected. And so with that came a lot of different areas to focus on, whether it be hardware security, whether it be how an organization functions, and ensuring that all members of an organization understand that there are actors out there that are looking at weak points to compromise our environment. Slowly over time, I understood the technology, I understood how the technology worked, and now understanding how it could be compromised became that next part of my journey that was very interesting to me. Well, as a condition of employment, there are several certifications that are available to those in my industry, and for the most part, the majority of my peers, there's a standard certification they all go to. And the thing about that certification is that it's looking at security from the perspective of a server administrator or data center administrator. CH caught my attention because it was a different perspective. It was from the hacker's point of view. If I wanted to compromise an environment, what are the strategies and tactics? What are the tool sets that I would utilize? And I found that to be very interesting, to look at or have that perspective, have a completely different perspective to how to secure an environment. Well, as I mentioned earlier, it is having a professional certification is a condition of employment. So the first thing is that it allowed me to satisfy that condition. It allowed me to move from a probationary period into a permanent role within my organization. Secondly, it gave me again that different perspective, or how we need to implement that defense in depth. Having that secure understanding, that security understanding from a different perspective was something that benefits me in many ways, right? It allows me to be that different voice when we're talking about new infrastructure that needs to be implemented or new systems that we need to design. Having that perspective allows me to give more diversity to the conversation. Well, CH definitely stands out as a more focused certification, a more complicated certification that you have a greater challenge. So it does get a little more prestige. It is looked at as something that many want to try to attain, and it is looked at within the industry, especially nowadays, where security has become one of those very important aspects of every mission, of every industry. Having the right capability, having the right personnel that understand how to properly protect those information systems has become an invaluable part of every organization. So it is looked at very highly within the industry and especially within my organization. Initially, this certification helped me move from a probationary period within my organization to a permanent role. As I continued in my journey within this organization, I became interested in management. And this certification as an applicant actually gave me a greater opportunity to be interviewed and subsequently allowed me to get into a management role within my organization. I think it gives me a different perspective. So in my primary function, I lead a team of server administrators and infrastructure managers. And so our perspective is how to make a system efficient and effective for whatever role that it has to support. Having this certification gave me the perspective of how can I secure it? If I wanted to compromise this environment, what tactics would I utilize to compromise that environment? If I wanted to penetrate that system and I wanted to manipulate the information on there without having the right privileges, what tool sets would I utilize? Having that perspective changed how the dynamic of my conversations with my team. So instead of just focus on how effective that system can be, I have conversations with my team on how can we secure it? Did we consider how it functions and what are the potential weak points? And so it's a more robust and thorough way of looking at how information systems are managed, how they're deployed, and ensuring that we truly support our customers with secure, available systems at all times. Well, part of my journey, I decided to start teaching, and I teach for a local university here part-time. And this certification actually modified the way I would teach some of my classes. So where before the lectures were very focused on process, nowadays I actually utilize the skill sets and some of the strategies that I learned as part of the certification to encourage my students to focus on the security aspects, the value of building very secure systems, and to consider from top to bottom where are the potential weak points. So that as they go out, as they earn their degrees and they go out into the real world, they're not just focused on how to manage the systems, but they're actually focused on how to protect that information properly, and how to be an invaluable resource to their organizations. Well, my favorite part of the CH program was the pen testing. It was very interesting how simple tools that have been around for so long and they're free to actually download and utilize can be used to compromise very complex systems. So I found it very interesting how, especially from a military perspective, how just simple strategy and tactics are utilized, even from a social aspect, to acquire information, just utilizing search engines to get as much information as possible just to find the weak points of an organization's information systems was very interesting to me. Well, I definitely attribute my current success to the certification. The certification allowed me to rise to the top of the candidate pool for my current role as a manager within my organization. So I do thank the team very much for the way the coursework is organized, the hands-on aspect of the coursework. The challenge behind the examination process was very useful to me. Truly challenged me, and I'm very thankful for the certification as it opened new doors for me within my office, my organization, and within the industry as an IT professional.